People are always like, why don't introverts just make friends? This is why. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today our movie in the middle is Speak No Evil. Speak No Evil follows a family of three who, after making new friends on a trip to Italy, go to stay with them for a week and find that things are more perilous than they expected. It stars James McAvoy, Mackenzie Davis, Scoot McNairy, and Aisling Franciosi. So there is no way I could have not known that this movie was coming out. You know why? Because I think I saw this trailer roughly 1 billion times. I hear in my sleep every night James McAvoy going, "Of course I'm a bloody doctor." They played it in front of every movie I have seen in the last 3 months. I could have been going to see Despicable Me 4, and the people would have been like, you know what I think you might also like if you like this movie? But of course this is the American remake of the 2022 film of the same name, and like most other people, I was thinking when I heard that this was going to happen, like, why? Why do we have to make American remakes of all these international movies, especially ones that have just come out, like within the last 2 to 3 years? We are definitely getting an American Parasite next, starring Justin Timberlake and Florence Pugh, probably. And while I still hold to that opinion and question, this movie was pretty good. Starting off with the highs, James freaking McAvoy. Just look at him. God, I love this man. He is so good in this movie. Every single time he's in a movie, I think this is going to be such a good movie because he just dives into these roles. If he's playing one character or 13, you just know it's going to be so freaking good. And he is terrifying in this movie because he is just so unhinged, and you know it the whole time. But you still can't help but be like, this guy, he's a pretty cool guy, and he has a good way of talking. It's just like, get out. But, and aside from that, the acting all across the board was really, really good, especially from Mackenzie Davis, who I really only ever seen her in Happiest Season, and I didn't love her character in that movie, but she still acted in it very well. But in this one, she really commands a lot of the scenes and a lot of the dialogue and the characters. She's really, really good in this. There is also one other character that I want to just highlight, which is Dan Huff, who plays the son of the other family that this main family meets. He did a really good job as well because quite literally he has almost no words to work with, but his acting on his face is so good for being such a, just like a young actor. Especially at the end, there's something that happens where I was like, damn, he really went all into the method acting that day. The acting was really great because it is really just a character-based psychological thriller. There's no big horror moments. I mean, some towards the end, but it's really just a lot of awkward tension, and that is what makes this movie so stressful. This is not a movie for people pleasers. Like, it is a horror movie for people pleasers and people who hate cringy episodes from The Office.
Babe, can you just really, whoa, we're just like, really,
What?
Can you just simmer down?
No,
Seriously.
I was making people laugh.
No,
Yes, I was watching Jim's face.
I was watching Jim.
And he was laughing.
No,
Look,
you smile.
Most of the believability of this story and why they keep coming back when they know something is wrong is because of this hold that being nice to people and manipulating them has on us. Like, I know from the very first moment that we meet James McAvoy, he's not a good guy and something's wrong. But I still, in the audience, was like, I don't want to rub him the wrong way, and he's such a nice guy, and I'm not even in the movie. What is wrong with me? But they did do a really great job with the script of just having these moments that are just enough to get them to be like, all right, you know what, maybe we overreacted, maybe we took this the wrong way, I'm really sorry. And it's a lot of gaslighting, obviously, but it's just so well done that you're like, yeah, I would also feel bad leaving right now. Also, not to get into any spoilers or anything, but there is a fair bit of like fighting, struggles, things like that, especially towards the end of the movie. I would say that they actually did a pretty good job with that choreography, because a lot of times you'll come into these types of movies where it's just normal, regular people, regular family, but then later on they can somehow do really amazing things, or even if they do like one good one, it's like, all right, coincidentally you did a really good job at knocking that guy out or shooting this gun or whatever, but then they can just do it like a lot, you know? And in this one, the choreography for the struggles was for the most part pretty realistic. It's not gonna look good. It's going to be messy. You're gonna try to hit somebody and you're accidentally gonna hit somebody else, or it's, you know, your arm's not gonna go to the right spot, or whatever it is that makes it look like just an awful fight. And that's realistic. And that's what made it super terrifying, is because it really proved these are just regular people and they're using their wits and whatever else they can to get out. And I think that's a really interesting thing about this movie too, is that from the beginning, we know from the premise that these people are terrible. These people are insane. The entire draw of the movie doesn't come from, is something happening here? It's trying to figure out what's happening and what are they going to do about it? Because we don't really know exactly what's going to happen, but you can kind of have like an idea of what's sort of going on. But it's all about the interactions in each scene and the little mental back and forth that they have. And that's really good, although it was stressful. For my middle, a lot of people are saying that this movie drags. I didn't necessarily get that. Like, I can totally see where they're coming from, which is why it's a middle, because it is a long movie of a lot of these interactions till it actually builds up to something. For me, it didn't necessarily drag, first of all, because, like, I was invested in every single scene, because they also, like, did a really good job of fleshing out a lot of the characters and not just making it a one-off generic thriller story. But also, like, the premise of the movie is this weird back and forth that's happening until they realize what's really going on. So I didn't mind it because, like, that was kind of the point of the movie. I only have two sort of small lows. One is that while it is mostly believable that the characters would do this or not do this, there are some times where I go, why didn't you just... You know, there's just those moments where you're like, you could have just, but you didn't. And there was like one or two of those moments in here that it's not a lot, but they're kind of crucial. And then the other one is that the motivations behind why the villains in this movie are doing what they're doing, there's a lot of them. And it's really mixed. And it was weird because it's like, just pick one. Like, they had, like, you know, mental health stuff, they had like revenge reasons, they had monetary reasons. All of these things kind of mixed in, and it was never clear at any one point, like, which is it? And it definitely could be like two, but there were like 4 or 5 motivations at least that I could find, and it just made it muddled, like, why are you doing this? It didn't really take away from my enjoyment of the movie, because again, the enjoyment of the movie is in the moment, in the scene, but I left being like, okay, but what was the point? Why did you do that? So overall, this could have been a throwaway remake with cheap scares and dumb character decisions, but it was actually pretty well done. They fleshed out characters and their relationships, it kept tension, mostly believable and at the forefront of the movie, and the sequences themselves are just paced really, really well. Plus, again, James McAvoy. I'm going to give Speak No Evil a 3.5 out of 4. Well, guys, let me know what you thought of Speak No Evil in the comments below, and let me know if you've seen the original, how it compares to that one, because I've heard it's pretty similar in some spots, but then the ending is way different, so I definitely want to watch it. I might have to take a minute before I do, though, because this was a long, feeling movie. And as always, keep your hopes high, your stress low, and movies right in the middle. I'll see you guys later.